Welcome back to our Woodland Snowflake hat knit along. In this episode, we're gonna dive into Fair Isle. I'm gonna show you some examples of color dominance. We're going to work the chart, shape the hat, finish up the crown, and then talk a little bit about blocking. If you haven't purchased your kit yet, you can always check out our website at onebighappy.com. The kit includes the yarn and the pattern. Let's get started. Okay, so let's just dive right in here. So I've gone ahead and I've added a couple more rounds. After you switch to your larger needles, then you're going to switch to your main color. And for this hat, the main color is going to be white, and the contrasting color is the Joshua Tree green, which I absolutely love on this hat, as you can tell from my shirt. But this is one of my favorite colors. So in the pattern, you'll knit 3 rounds using your main color, which is the white on this one, and then you dive into the chart. And so I've got this sample ready here to dive into the chart. But before I do that, there's a lot of things I want to cover with Fair Isle. So this is a 2-color Fair Isle design. It is called the Woodland Snowflake. And so how I came up with that name is I was making a snowflake, and my little girl looked at it and thought I was making a tree. And so now we have a woodland snowflake. So it's like a tree and a snowflake. But I also like lines, like triangles and squares, more than I like circles. And so I put this square around it, added a couple of little extra motifs on the side to fill in this design. And we have a chart in the pattern that will show you how we make this. And we'll be switching between the 2 different colors, and I'll show you all of that. But I just kind of want to give a little bit of detail behind the pattern. Something else we need to think about before we start knitting the chart is color dominance. So I have a couple of examples here. Let me grab my little swatch that I made. So in this hat, I used the main color as my dominant color. So I held that one in my left hand, and I wanted that to pop. Now I want to show you what it looks like when you hold your contrasting color in your left hand, or you choose for your contrasting color to be your dominant color. And here is the difference. So, let me get this here. You can really see it in this main line right through here. See that? Where you can see the blue stitches look a little bit bigger than the white stitches. And then on my finished hat, the white stitches look a little bit bigger or almost the same size as the blue stitches. And they are more defined in this version versus this version. They've kind of sunk down, like you can't see where they connect right here, versus on this one you can really see where the white connects. So that's honestly a knitter's preference. Choose what you want to pop, but make that choice before we start knitting so you know how to hold your yarn. Now, I also want to go over a couple of things on the back here, and I'll show you these as we're knitting along. These lines right here are called floats, and this is where you're carrying your yarn. Fair Isle versus Intarsia. Fair Isle is you carry both strands of yarn together with you, and Intarsia is where you just knit each section with its own group of yarn, and you clip your yarn and move on to the next. So we're doing Fair Isle. 2-color work is also another term for that. I don't really like to get caught up on all of the terms. I'm just like, hey, this is how I'm doing it. Let's have fun doing it. But there's just a little background for you. Something else I want to show you in advance before we get there. There's going to be times, especially on this first round of color work, where we're going to be knitting over 5 stitches in one particular color. When that happens, you want to capture your float. That's the terminology, and I'll show you how to do that when we get there. But I also want to show you what it looks like on the back of the work. Right here, you're going to see a little bar of white. I'm going to stick my needle underneath of it so it really pops out. See this little bar here and this little bar here? That's where I have captured my float so that I don't have a big, long one that goes all the way across, because then you run the risk of it getting snagged. It's going to be on your hair on your head, so you may not snag, but if you run your fingers on the inside of your hat, you may snag, and then that'll mess up your design on the other side, and you don't want to do that. So we want to capture those floats, tack them down to your work so it doesn't get all messy. But this is the back side of what it's going to look like on your hat, on the inside of your hat. Okay, so enough of that, let's get to knitting. Just want to follow you through that. Now I have my chart. Here's something else I want to show you. I have my chart on my Knit Companion on my phone. And I have this little highlighter bar where I can move along and it shows me where I'm at in the chart. You can use Post-it notes to keep your spot in your chart. You can use a pattern keeper with a magnet bar that you can move up and down. There's several different options, but it's always good to have something that marks each row of your chart. And we will be working in the round, and on your chart, it's in rows. So always remember you're going to be working from right to left, and then there's repeats in this. This particular pattern has, I think, like 6 repeats. So as soon as you finish, you're still going to have more stitches on your needle. You start over on that same row because your chart is a row, but you're working in the round. So I hope that makes sense for you there. And if you do have any questions or if I'm getting you a little confused, we have a Facebook group, and that is One Big Happy Yarn Company Makers on Facebook. So feel free to post any questions there, or you can post them in the comments on the video, and we'll get back to you on that. Because I know this is a lot of information, but I just kind of want to go over some of the basics. Okay, so back to our work. We are on the chart, I'm on row 2 because I've already done row 1, which is just the single color. And I want to show you how to do the color work. I want my white to be my dominant color, so I'm going to hold it to the left side of my work, and I'm going to hold it in my left hand. You don't have to, but I want to keep that on my left side, and you might also want to put your yarn on your left side so that you can keep them from getting tangled up. And then my green is going to be on my right side. I'm going to hold that with my right hand. So now we're ready to start knitting. And I've got 7 white stitches. So right off the bat, I've got more than 5 stitches, so I'll show you how we're going to work with that. I'm going to knit 1, 2, 3. Now on my 4th stitch, I'm going to capture my yarn. So I want you to be able to see both sides, what's happening on the back and what's happening on the front. On the back, I'm coming around my needle as if I'm going to knit. My white is going to go over my needle, and then my green is coming back. So essentially, I've twisted that yarn in the back just like that. So I'll show you that again. Let me undo this and show you again. Okay, I've got my green on my right side. My left has the white. I'm going to bring my green up and over, then my white over, and then I'm bringing my green back around so that they twist. Okay, let's do that one more time. My needle goes into the stitch. My green comes around, my white goes over, then my green comes back. And I've twisted them without twisting my balls of yarn, without twisting anything else, those 2 stitches. And that's going to tuck that down and capture that float right across there. Okay, so that's 4, and then I need 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to knit with my green. I've got 1 stitch in green, 2 stitches in white, 1 stitch in green, 2 stitches in white, and then 1 stitch in green, and then I've got 6 stitches in white. 6 is more than 5, so I'm going to have to capture a float in there. I usually like to try to find the middle point, so I know I've got 6 stitches. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then here we go again. We're going to capture that float, bring it around, bring it around and through. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I'm at the end of the chart, but I still have more stitches. So I need to start the chart over again. And we started with 7 white stitches. I also have to keep in mind I now have 2 stitches here, and there's my float. I want to spread out my stitches, make sure that float is elongated, because if it's too tight, it's going to cinch up your stitches, and you don't want that to happen. So keep everything really spaced, keep your tension loose, and that will help your design fall into place a little better. So I've got 2 there. I need to add 7. So I've got 2. So 7 and 2 is 9. So I've got 2, 3, 4. This would be the 5th one. I'm going to go ahead and capture my float there. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there we go. I've gone a pretty good distance capturing that float on the back side here. Now I'm ready for green. And see how I'm keeping green on the right, white on the left. Just like that. So you'll go ahead and continue all the way around, repeating that chart, capturing your floats. Now, you'll move up each time, and like on this knit companion here, once I'm finished with that row, I'll go here, and then I'll complete round 3 by repeating that pattern. Once I'm at the top, then I'm going to start decreasing, and I'll show you how we do that. So I've gone ahead and I finished my chart here, and I've started working on my decreases. And I've got to the point where my stitches are all stretched out on my cord. So it's time to switch over to double pointed needles. So at this point, I thought I'd show you how I make the decreases as I'm switching over to my double pointed needles. I've got them right here ready for me. And when your first round of decreases, you're going to knit 8 and then knit 2 together. And then you do a round, what I call a resting round, where it's just all stockinette. And then you do another round of decreases. So right now, I'm on the one where I'm going to knit 4 and then knit 2 together. And it's time to switch over to double pointed needles. See, look how that's all stretched out. That's not good. We don't want to have that on there. So I just start knitting with my double pointed needle. I'll knit 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the decrease stitch that's used throughout the entirety of this shaping of the crown is a knit 2 together. So I simply just slide my needle through 2 stitches, knit those 2 together. Okay, so now I have 5 stitches over here. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit these 2 together. Okay, and now because, there we go. See how I pulled this to give up slack over here? Because I really don't want all that tension on my stitches. I don't want it to distort them. I want them to be nice and loose. Okay, so now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit 2 together. Okay, so I got 15 stitches on that needle. I'm going to pick up my next one. So I've got a new one. And knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and then knit 2 together. And 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit 2 together. And in the pattern, we have all these rows wrote out for you so that you will have step-by-step instructions on what I'm doing here And you can mark them off as you go along. Okay, so I'm picking up my third needle. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Knit 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knit 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knit 2 together. Okay, pick up my last one here. One, 2, 3, 4. Knit 2 together. Let's see, this one's trying to get in my way, so I'm just going to move it like that so it keeps hitting my finger back there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's being stubborn. Another thing I want to show you too, just as a second check, see these 2 stitches right here where they form into one stitch? That's the decrease from the row before last. So when it comes time to do your decrease here, I always like to look at the row below and see, do I have a single stitch or do I have one that has 2? If I have one that has 2, then I know I'm maybe off and that just needs to be a resting round. If it's a single stitch, then I know that that is where my decrease is. You can also start to see this pattern form, this row right here. That's also just a visual double check to make sure you're in the right place and you haven't got off on your counting. So just a couple of things that I like to look at and just kind of make sure. Sometimes I get to talking and forget where I'm at. That's just a great visual double check to see where you're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit 2 together. So now I'm done with these. I'm at the beginning of my round. Now I don't have a place to put my stitch marker because I just had this round stitch marker. So how am I going to remember where the beginning of my round is? I have a couple of options. I'm going to show you what this looks like here too. But first we got to mark this beginning of the round. So I have a tail down here sometimes, and this is the lazy way, the really lazy way. And stick it in there so that I know right there where that is. That's the beginning of my round. Now the official way to mark this is to take a locking stitch marker and put that into your fabric right there. And that way you know that that's the beginning of your round. And then you move it every time. But for me, I just put that in there. Okay. Now you know one of my secrets. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up my 5th. Let's take a look at what this looks like. All of my stitches have been transferred over to my double pointed. I have 4 with active stitches, and I'm using the 5th one that I'm going to knit around. This is now my resting round. So what that means is I'm going to knit every stitch until I get back to this stitch marker. And you might want to watch how I'm handling my needles here, because I hear a lot, oh, that's just too much. There's too many needles sticking out. Keep in mind, you are only working with 2 needles at a time. Think of the other ones as being stitch holders. They're holding your stitches. And as long as your tension is right, they're going to stay in place. Now you might get like down here, this one's kind of poking out here, and this one over here is kind of poking out here. But if you hold them and put them in a place where they're not bothering you, it's not a problem. Your focus is on the 2 that you're using to knit with. And the others can kind of just hang out. So now I'm just going to knit all the way around. And then my next round, I'll do a round of decreases. So last time I knit 4, knit 2 together. My next time it'll be knit 3, knit 2 together. Go ahead and continue following your pattern, working the decreases and the resting rounds until you have 12 stitches left on your needles, and then I'll show you how we close up the top. Okay, so I'm down to 12 stitches. I've got 3 stitches on each of my needles. I've gone ahead and clipped my yarn. So now what I'm going to do is cinch up the top of the crown of this hat. Super simple. Just thread my tapestry needle, and then I'm going to, well, let's first take out our stitch marker. There we go. And then I'm going to slide my tapestry needle through all the stitches. So that one is done. Come over here. 1, 2, 3. Here. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. And 1, 2, and 3. And then just close it up. And now all you have to do is just weave in your ends and cinch that up at the top. Now, the next thing I want to go over is blocking. With this Fair Isle, I highly, highly recommend blocking because that's going to relax your stitches and they're going to fall into place. So you can do a wet block if you like, but I found that with this one, using a steamer and steam blocking, I liked the look of it. I felt like I could manipulate the fabric a little bit better and get it exactly where I wanted it. I laid mine flat to dry. You could use a bowl. I'm going to use this steamer here. Woo, and just gently go over it. Gets it a little bit wet, but not soaking wet. And then once that happens, there we go. Then you just lay it flat to dry, or like I said, you could hang it over a bowl and let it dry that way. But that, using the steam kind of gets into those fibers and relaxes those stitches. And then there you go. You're ready. So thank you for joining me for the Woodland Snowflake hat knit along. I hope you've learned a little bit more about Fair Isle and all the steps that it takes to figure out what color you want to be your contrasting color, what color you want to be your dominant color, how to capture those floats. That was fun and exciting. This is a very simple pattern. I hope you give it a try. Happy knitting!